Hey everybody, welcome to the Brainal Podcast. This is episode 41, and today is September 7th, 2016. I'm Jepi Condile.
And I am Frozen GFX.
And I'm good coffee.
And guys, we got so much to talk about. It's been one of those days where just I don't even know where to start. Well, okay, first things first. It's a new month. I would like you guys to guess what's on the Nintendo calendar. Which character and what are they doing? I obviously already know what it is, but I want you guys to guess.
Oh, damn. Okay, can you kind of recap what the last one was? I forgot that one.
It was Mario. Hold on. I think he's in a bathing suit. Yeah, Mario bathing suit with an inner tube and a crab and a snorkel. Let me just recap.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has been since January. Mario, Toad, Peach, Mario, Yoshi, Mario.
I'm going Luigi. Luigi's got to be in there. Okay.
Yeah.
What is he doing or wearing?
Oh, what is he wearing? I'm going to say he's wearing he's a seal.
Okay.
A seal or a polar bear, I don't know.
What about you?
It doesn't
Coffee?
make sense.
I think it's Luigi too, but I think he is wearing a suit.
Okay. You're both correct, and that's Luigi. Finally.
Oh,
he's
Luigi!
But
yeah.
it's a Tanuki Luigi in statue form.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at Luigi.
And he's standing, he has a green scarf, he has his left eye closed, his right hand open, and in front of the moon.
I just want you to know that I said he was wearing a suit. I didn't specify Tanuki suit. You know,
That's true.
Left it open for interpretation. The
Tanuki.
viewers know.
It's a type of bear. Doesn't it look like a bear?
It's like a raccoon with big balls, right?
Tanuki's a big, bald, like,
Raccoon bear?
sprite,
No bear.
mischievous spirit thing. Yeah.
Or related to bears.
No.
Of
Not
the
at all.
bear genus.
Yeah, so he finally gets his month. Finally. He just took September to do it.
About damn time.
This would be a big month, I think.
Yeah, well, so let's see. Let's see what happens the first week. Let's why don't we just, I don't know, you guys want to start with what we've been playing, or you want
Sure.
to guys get to the big stuff?
Let's just start slow build up, that steamy build up.
Yeah. Let's
All
do
right.
a little bit of foreplay, and then we hit him with the stunner.
That's stunning. That's how we do it.
You guys just start.
Okay.
You foreplay each other.
So I'm going to start, because I
Get
got
ready,
some
Coffee.
beef with you guys. Apparently, I'm no good at playing games.
It's not beef if it's true.
You
I'm
are.
not good at playing
Apparently
my
have
back
beef with
catalog
yourself.
of games.
Yeah. How's 999 going?
999 is still a mystery right now, because
And Last of Us?
Last of Us is going very well, actually.
Really?
You're lying.
Really? Then I just met the other guy and his brother, and we just went through all the hunters. And now I actually made it through the bridge. How about them apples?
For the record, Frozen heard the podcast a day after we posted. So I'm gonna go. Have you earned any trophies?
Yeah,
Good. I'm gonna be
so.
able to look at them and see when you
Go
got.
right ahead. Go
will.
do it.
And I'm gonna see exactly.
Because it's been since last week.
I know. And for the record, people, that's the reason why I said it on the podcast. Just light a fire.
Of course.
Boy, I mean, what are you thinking of Last of Us so far?
It's pretty cool. I do like it a lot. I'm noticing it's getting a bit repetitive as far as getting to this certain location. But
yeah, to me, that's the nature of Naughty Dog games to an extent.
But the story is very well done, and it is. You remember how we felt with Street Fighter V and the story of that? We were just watching the movie. I feel like I'm watching a movie in this. So
yeah,
very, very cool. Yeah, they are good at that.
That's awesome, man. I'm so glad you're playing it.
Yeah. I guess other games that I've been playing. Well, I've been trying to play Abduction.
The Cyan.
Yeah, I got it because it came out maybe like a week and a half ago. I'm having issues running that game, and it keeps crashing on me.
Is it buggy or is it really demanding?
I don't think it's that demanding. At least in my computer, I have it scaled down, but I seem to be getting to a certain point where it just kind of keeps crashing on me. So I guess it's that area that I'm in. But and it sucks though because it's only done that within maybe like 45 minutes of me playing it. So I haven't really gone out and seen everything. So, but it seems really cool and definitely has that Myst vibe.
Is this supposed to be in the same universe or completely new?
It's like completely new. It's like a new story. Obviously, it's not related to the Myst at least right now. I don't think so.
I saw a screenshot of it. Man, and before I realized it was Abduction, because when you said Abduction, I just assumed it was, spelled with an A.
Uh-huh.
And I saw the screenshot. I'm like, man, that looks a lot like Exile or Riven. As far as the architecture, right, of the building I saw in the screenshot.
Yeah, like the
it looked like a Pueblo type.
Yeah, there's similarities in like the art style to it, like from what we've experienced with previous Cyan games, but it's
the same
completely different direction. Yeah, it's same people. But yeah.
And now I realize, like, oh man, it's Abduction with an O. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't release it for. I feel like they're really limiting themselves. I hope they release that for console at some point. Yeah,
I think that would do.
I've never gotten into the Myst game. I mean, I tried them a little bit at my computer back in the library when I was just a tot, but I was just, I guess, too not smart for them. I get caught real quick.
Well, I mean, you might have been just young.
I was young. I mean, I was. So.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well,
a little coffee.
Yeah.
As far as anything new, that's pretty much what I've been playing. Of course, I've been playing the classics, but the normal stuff, Destiny, things like that. But,
cool.
That's about it for me.
Coffee, what about you, man?
I'm just playing more Metroid Prime, the collection, and I can't get over how good that game is still, and it holds up, and I forgot specifically how good the controls are with the Wii, and they put the ones that were in Corruption, Metroid Prime 3 into Prime 1 and 2, and frankly, I wish more games played like that. Like, it feels like when you put up the sensitivity all the way, it just feels so good, And I just thinking about that, and if they put Metroid Prime in VR, I'd be all set for life.
I forgot if Metroid Prime 3 was that before or after the Wii Remote Plus. Before, right? Okay.
Yeah, but it still used the reticle and the sensor bar to great effect.
Yeah, I remember Metroid Prime 3 was the first time I was able to do the what was it? Like you threw a tether out with the nunchuck, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the pull
yeah.
back or something. I remember that was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Pretty dope. So mostly just been playing that. I tried out. I wanted to pick up, as you know, I picked up my Galaxy S7 new phone.
Yeah, that's something I'd like to talk about later. If that's cool with you.
Oh, later. Okay.
Yeah, but what about Arkham?
Arkham. I bought the DLC, the Most Wanted pack, and I'm not going to go into any spoilers. I know I mentioned it to you that it's just it's the kind of DLC that a game like that deserves. You know, when you really feel like a lot of the DLCs with the season passes get a lot of shoe-in content that really doesn't have a lot of substance. This is good stuff.
It doesn't feel like filler.
No, not at all. It's excellent stuff. So yeah, I suggest anyone who hasn't given it a shot.
Frozen, can you please remind me of your situation with Arkham Knight?
Yeah, just kind of dip my toes into it. Really.
Okay.
I haven't played it since last time I told you guys.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. For me, I knocked a few of the small games off my list. So, okay, let's start with Inside. So I finally beat Inside, and I feel like for the most part, unless there's some really buried secret that I have not discovered yet, I have 100% in that game. And oh, Lord. Okay, so for anyone who's played it, this... I don't want to spoil what happens, okay? It's a pretty meta game, but for anyone who's played it, especially the very last section, you would understand when I say I am shocked at the physics of that game. That game has such amazing and accurate physics to me, where it was just such a beautiful thing. The impact that Inside left on me wasn't as of yet as emotional as Limbo was, because Limbo, for any of you who've played it or any of you who haven't played it, rather, Limbo, you're this boy who just goes forward, and you unless you read the synopsis, you might not have realized why this boy is going forward, and then at the very end, it hits this crazy crescendo where you realize at the very end of the game, like what the hell this boy's been doing. This one with Inside, you're still a boy, and there's a lot of context as to what's going on, and there's a lot that they don't show you, which is strange, but you see the effects of, which is very interesting. But the ending. Actually, the very last part was actually kind of crazy. But as far as emotional, I don't think it really hit me as hard as Limbo has. But I feel like the more I think about Inside, it's probably a much, much deeper game that I realize that it is. But that movie, that game was incredible. Definitely worth playing. Really dark, though. I did beat Bound. I really did enjoy Bound, but the ending seemed a little anticlimactic to me, as far as why the levels were beautiful. I kind of wish they just did a little bit more at the end, but there's a chance that I might have not unlocked most of the game yet. So, but I really did enjoy that. And then I also beat Abzu, and that game really did play it out a lot like Journey did, especially at the end, being pretty cathartic. Visually, that game's ridiculous. There are parts of it where I feel like I'm in a Tool music video, and it's so trippy. It was crazy, but I really did enjoy it, as cryptic as Journey was. Really great. So I'm glad I knocked those out of the way. I forgot to mention a couple weeks ago, Giggles and I finally beat Halo 5. I don't think I mentioned that last week. And
you did, actually.
Oh, I did? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Then never mind.
Congrats.
Thanks. It just took almost a year. And I think off the top of my head, that's pretty much all I've been playing. I'm probably missing something, but yeah, that pretty much catches me up. So, that being said, you ready for the big stuff? Ready for the stunner?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I will say I haven't heard it. I didn't look at anything today related to the new stuff. So anything you say right now is going to be brand new to me. So hit me.
Okay, cool. All right, so today there were two big events that happened today. Sony had their PlayStation meeting or PlayStation event. I forgot what it's called, and they finally announced the PlayStation. What we call Slim. They just call it, I think, the new PlayStation 4 or something like that. Going on sale next week, the 15th, for $299. I tried to find it, just couldn't find it right away. I'm assuming the capacity is 500 gigs, which is whatever. The DualShock does have that extra little light bar, not in replacement of the back light bar, but the extra little one up top, just so you can see what color, your light bar is showing you. I'm hoping you could turn that off if you want. And the buttons do seem to be a little bit grayer than normal, as opposed to black. But outside of that, I think that's pretty much it. Then they went into the PlayStation Neo, which is officially called the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And that, there's a lot of things I like about it, some things I don't like about it. But, visually, this thing looks like they added another little layer to the PlayStation 4. Yeah. So if you look at the PlayStation, 4, it looks, if you're lying it horizontally, you have the two layers with the little space in between the two layers where you plug in the your USB ports and the disc slot goes. And the PlayStation 4 Slim, has that same form factor, just smaller, a little bit more compact. The PlayStation 4 Pro has a third layer on it. It just looks like they literally added another thing. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I know, Frozen, you haven't seen it yet, but you clearly saw it, right, Coffee?
Yeah, visually, I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, I was actually underwhelmed by it.
It was pretty plain looking, to be honest.
But I do think, at the same time, don't get me wrong, I am unimpressed by the visual design of the PlayStation 4 Pro, but I feel like that might have been a more conscious decision, so you don't feel like you have something inferior, I guess, if you just have the normal PlayStation 4. So a lot of people are comparing this to, I guess it would be something like an iPhone 6 to a 6S or whatever, something that incremental, where they don't want it to look too drastically different. But I really did not. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, is that it? But this is 4K capable, like the Xbox One S and the Xbox One Scorpio, whatever that will be called. This does have HDR capabilities. I don't know which protocol specifically, if it's one or the other or both. I don't know. But so basically they were touting how much better the games run and look texture-wise and everything, with the increased resolution, also as well as the HDR capabilities. But
that 20-second clip of Spider-Man, though.
Yeah, I didn't see that. It looked good.
Yeah. I mean, they were just like zooming in on the cloth of his outfit and stuff, and
Oh yeah, but you know what? Of all the freaking events, this is the event where they debut Mass Effect gameplay. So they showed some Mass Effect Andromeda. Yeah, and when I watched it, I was like, wow, that really does feel like Mass Effect to me. To me, it looked great. But the thing is, they showed the footage to show off what the PlayStation 4 Pro, would be like. And from what I understand, Mass Effect Andromeda is the very first game that debuted with the, I guess the higher end presentation. I don't know what it looks like with the normal PlayStation 4. It still looked amazing. From what they showed visually that's different Yes, there's a substantial, a fairly significant increase in visual fidelity. Granted, I watched this on my phone at the time because I was doing something else. So I don't own a 4K television. I don't have something that's HDR capable. I didn't watch it on my laptop that has a better display. So it's noticeable. But one thing I do like is they kind of it's they I think they did an okay job showing like, hey, if you get the PlayStation 4 Pro is doing this, but at the same time they're like, but if you don't, it's okay because the games still look amazing on your normal PlayStation 4 or whatever. They did also mention that if you don't have a 4K TV, but you do get a PlayStation 4 Pro, you will still see improvement. You won't see the 4K, aspect of it, but you will still see improvement, and you will still see the HDR thing capabilities as well.
You're gonna pick one up?
Me personally, I don't know. They did mention, like, in other words, I'm thinking I'm not going to. They did mention that for PlayStation VR, which would have been the main reason why I would pick it up, that you will get better visuals from it, but it just I feel like it didn't wow me as much as I thought it could have. And
it's so expensive though for just like that. I mean, if I had a 4K TV, it'd be a no-brainer. But
as far as price, it will be coming out November 10th for $399 for a 1 terabyte hard drive. And from what I understand, they have not announced any higher capacity models or anything. You think $399 is too expensive for that? See, I don't. I think that's
for someone that already owns a PS4. Yes, for someone that hasn't bought a PS4 yet and is thinking about dipping their toes in, I could see it. But
that doesn't make sense to me because you get the normal PS4 or the Slim for $299 next week.
That's true. Well, I'm saying I see no point in buying it, having a PS4 already.
Right, but you don't have a 4K TV.
Correct.
Yeah. So of course you don't have a point. Well, I mean, other than seeing the graphical, increase in fidelity, this is why I think the way they marketed it, how they call it the PlayStation 4 Pro, and how this is like when people, saying like, I don't see the point in getting an iPad Pro when I have an iPad, and I've seen an iPad Pro and that thing's pretty crazy as far as in person. That's very significantly different than what you might think. But yeah, for me personally, there's not enough of a reason for me to get it now, especially with my current setup, even when I get the PlayStation VR. Yeah. But I do like the idea that, hey, in the future, if right now that's $399, I think by the time I'm ready to get one, I'm hoping they'll either release a new higher capacity version of that, because I still think 1 terabyte might be too little for me personally.
Sure.
Or I would like more color options or whatever. But I do like the fact that they haven't really set it so different from the PS4, where I'll put it this way, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything with my current setup. Now, If I had a 4K TV, I would understand. Like, okay, I feel like I'm missing out. What's another $100? But yeah, right now, I'm with you.
I think it just comes down to a money issue for me because, I believe the NX is coming out soon. If I wanted to invest in something that costed that much, I'd probably, invest in a PSVR as opposed to buying that and the PS4 VR and a 4K TV. It's just way too much money right now. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, maybe down the line, maybe.
Yeah, but I hate to say, I don't think I think that's a valid reason for you, but I don't think that is a valid reason for this thing to not exist.
I'm not saying so. I'm just saying personally.
But it kind of sounds like you're saying that's really expensive for a high-end console, for it to be the same price as what the original PS4 launched. To me, what would have been expensive, I actually thought it was going to be $450, $500. And so when I heard that, I'm like, that's pretty solid. Yeah, but with certain reports coming out, it does seem like they kind of cut corners to keep that cost low. So one of the big things, I was actually shocked that Microsoft was so vocal about this. A glaring omission is that uh, the PS4 Pro does not have 4K Blu-ray capabilities. Um, and from what I understand, the Xbox One S does already, right?
Correct.
So I feel like they left that out to save money, possibly, right? So that's something I would like in the future to have because look, I don't have a 4K TV,
Mm-hmm.
but if I do plan on getting one, maybe in a year, maybe past that, but I would like to have a 4K Blu-ray player, right? I mean, that's
Sure.
kind of weird that they don't have it.
But isn't the trend leading more towards a streaming media rather than a physical disc?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, that's true because they did say there should be new Netflix app that streams 4K content, which is cool.
Right.
It's going to stream YouTube 4K, which is cool,
okay.
or to YouTube.
See, that makes sense to me because I think I mean, for me personally, my PlayStation has become the gaming console. It's become a media center. It's been basically everything that I have, and I always stream things on there constantly, and I rarely ever have a physical form of a disc. So I, I, I would imagine they would want to continue that trend, leading into just more of an online content than just cater to 4K physical disc.
Yeah, but for me personally, one thing I've noticed, I do like to buy, like movies that I like. I like to buy them if I can on Blu-ray, and then that come with a digital HD version, right? I have noticed, and this is only specifically with Apple, for the record. Okay, I have noticed if you were to rent or buy a 1080p HD movie on Apple, that is completely digital, obviously. If I were to watch that and then also watch the Blu-ray version, they do look different to me. For some reason, when something's on a physical disc, um, as opposed to just being completely digital, there are fewer artifacts that I notice personally. And I still think that is limiting the. Let me put it this way: if that system cannot run Blu-rays, right? Then that means that the physical medium that you're using will not have as high capacity as 4K Blu-ray. I'm assuming you can hold more memory, which probably means you're gonna have to download more from patches or whatever from the internet, um, and that's gonna take up more space. I'm assuming on the hard drive, considering it's only 1 TB. I do think that's a misstep to not have me personally a 4K Blu-ray player because that's assuming that anything you can get, anything that comes out on 4K Blu-ray will be available to get digitally. And keep in mind, you are trying to watch something through a Sony system. Now, Netflix, I understand, right? But not everything that comes out on what I'm assuming in the future is 4K Blu-ray. I don't think it's going to be available on Netflix or YouTube. We're going to use the Sony PlayStation View, right, to watch that stuff. I would like to be able to buy something physically as far as a movie, pop it in, and watch it as it should be watched. And that's my issue. But again, I think it's just to save money. And I would be shocked if they didn't have a newer version come out at least or a year from now that has that capability in.
You're probably right.
Well, who knows? Who knows? We'll see. The only thing that I think I've really watched in 4K truly was that video you showed me, Frozen, with the blacksmith or whatever.
Yeah, that was 8K, by the way.
Oh, that was 8K? Oh, dang.
Yeah, remember that joke with that 8K? Yeah.
It was really 8K?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a joke.
No, that was for real.
Not being sarcastic right now?
No, I'm 100% genuine.
Dang. Yeah, so I just thought that was weird.
So I'm looking at the spec sheet for both the PlayStation Pro and the Slim.
Mhm.
So I can see why, you were saying they added another layer to the Pro.
Yeah.
So as compared to both the slimmer one and the Pro, obviously it's pulling a lot more watts and power consumption for being able to go up to 4K. But then just the graphics power of it, I don't know if this means anything to you, but the Slim, which is also comparable to what we have now on the current PlayStation 4, you're looking at about 1.8 teraflops of graphics power. So everything that you see in there is generated by the graphics, the GPU. And when you increase it up to where the Pro standard is, which is 4.2, you got a lot more things going on. You got a lot more juice. You got a lot more attention to detail, and ability to see finer things in the video. So with that, I think it would bulk it up even more, not only because of the increased power, but also it could have multiple GPUs in there generating that amount of teraflops.
They showed something interesting, and they I think they were touting this phrase forward compatibility. So here's the great news. You can, and by the way, I'm not saying all this is bad news, but I'm saying you don't have to buy a different version of a game. You just buy the game. I like how you normally would. You could pop it into your PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, whatever. You can still play the game. And the cool thing is they're going to take, not every game, but they're going to take some games that have already come out and will allow developers to, release a patch for it that could show, add pro benefits to it, which is pretty cool. I could have sworn in their sizzle reel, I might have been making this up, but I could have sworn they showed Shadow of Mordor. That's what it seemed like to me. And that game came out a while ago, right? So yeah, it's cool that a game that old might get a fresh, coat of paint. That's pretty cool, and it doesn't cost you anything more. It's not like you have to pay extra to, other than buying the console. Obviously, it's not like you have to pay extra to get the benefits, or see the improvements. So the cool thing is, in the future, should you guys or anyone update to the Pro, all the games you have, at least any new games from this point on, but also some of the old ones might already look better, and you don't have to pay an extra cent, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So that was dope. Could have sworn somebody was about to say something.
No, I just said cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what else did they show? They actually showed a new PlayStation 4 camera. No one really talked about it, but Polygon did have a mention on it. It's supposed to come out September 15th, and I think it's $59, which is the same price point as the current camera out now, and the one that's coming out with the VR bundle. I don't know if there's any performance differences, but at least visually it looks pretty different. I actually like the new how it looks. The new one, it looks pretty cool. What else? I'm trying to think. As far as that event,
what about the Mass Effect trailer?
Yeah, so the Mass Effect trailer. They showed a little bit of gameplay of. I'm just gonna put it this way because I want to be cryptic in case of it. I don't know if it really spoiled anything, but I'm going to be cryptic anyway. It showed a character you were controlling jumping from platform to platform in a pretty underground-looking place, but it was funny how Mass Effect-y it felt. And I forgot what it was like to play Mass Effect and how it has that little... It has its own feel. And then some event happens where you start seeing some of the other characters involved. And I was actually very, very impressed. So they didn't show much, but it's just so bizarre that they would wait till this event to debut that, But
I think on N7, November 7th, I think they're gonna have the next trailer and fully unveil it. Yeah,
I never thought about that.
Well, no, they actually mentioned it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. It's just interesting. This is a huge change in console gaming. They did not say anything about this being the end of generations, but this does seem to take a pretty solid cue from cell phones or smartphones, I should say. But this really does feel like, and people have predicted this for a while, but this really does feel like you running PC games, with mediocre or middle of the road, I should say, or average specs versus high specs, if I'm saying that correctly. That's what it seems like, which is kind of crazy. But this is what PC players have been having to deal with for the longest time, and now finally console gamers are starting to feel what that's like. But it's all good. So I think it's all good news. Nothing for me personally that I think is you have to do this. I am looking forward to getting one eventually, or seeing any other options they might offer in the future. But I actually right now I'm kind of relieved. I didn't expect to say this. I'm kind of relieved to be content with my PlayStation 4.
Me too, actually.
Yeah, and I feel like they did a pretty good job. They really controlled the message, saying, "Hey, if you want this, again, go for it. You don't have to. You don't have to." And that was a very tricky message for them to say, but yeah. But I mean, that's that, at least for the Sony event today. But are there any extra comments on that, or?
Yeah.
No. I'm good.
Okay. So, Nintendo, this year, right? They've been appearing in the most weird places. So, the Apple event was today, and this was nothing I planned on talking about. And then, lo and behold, the man himself, Shigeru Miyamoto, comes up on stage before they announce any new products.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and Bill Trinan, and it's just so bizarre to see that, it's so funny because, to me and to Coffee and, to I think most of an extent you Frozen, Nintendo is big, right? And Shigeru Miyamoto is big and Bill Trinan's big, but Bill Trinan's not big, but Miyamoto is. But what's so strange is seeing them on that stage for some reason made it start to click to me like, holy crap. For some reason in my mind, I'm like, wow, they just finally made it big for some reason, to be on a platform like that. Now, granted, remember, I didn't see Mario appear in the Olympics. You can't really get any bigger than the Olympics, right?
No, you can't.
Right.
Right.
So you got Mario appearing there, and then you have Mario appearing in an Apple thing. And so they announced Super Mario Run, which parts I like, parts I don't like. But have you guys seen footage of this?
Yeah, I actually thought it looked really fun. I mean, when I first heard of the name, I was like, this is going to be, like, not good. But then the more I saw of the gameplay, I was like, okay, this could actually be really fun.
The gameplay, it's an auto runner, which is nothing new to mobile game. Nothing, right?
No.
And so Mario just constantly running. It's in the style of the new Super Mario Brothers. I'm so glad they didn't say new anything. And it's auto runs, and you basically tap to jump, and for the most part. And they say the longer you hold, you touch the screen, the higher Mario will jump. And you hold it vertically, right? So it's not horizontal.
Yeah.
And it was just so weird to see that. But what I really did appreciate was the respect that everyone there seemed to have for Mario and Miyamoto. I don't remember the last time I heard that loud of an applause at an Apple event.
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, when they announced them. So, man, that was crazy. But it's supposed to come out before the end of the year. They did announce, and I do like this, it's not free to play. They will charge, will cost money. They didn't say what the price would be. They say there are going to be no microtransactions. It is the way it is.
Perfect.
Yeah. They did say it's coming out first for the iOS, but that does mean it will come out for Android.
Eventually, correct, yeah.
Yeah. I hope it's not too long because personally I'm over this whole exclusivity thing, right?
Yeah.
And then at the same time, they did announce that there will be multiplayer and leaderboards and stuff. So at first glance, I was like, okay, I understand they have to make this fun for mobile. I understand that. it's not really breaking any new mold. That's the one thing that was slightly disappointing to me. But
Sure.
I don't know if you noticed, but when they had the on stage demo, they didn't tell more about this, but in there were a level this guy was jumping, and he was jumping normally, but there were some blocks that kind of went up, and I think this game will reward. What I like is I think there are distinct levels. There are ends or castles. There's Bowser you got to jump over, old school Mario style, like Super Mario Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are going to be so many secrets.
Yeah.
Where I think that's what's going to make the game so great. When people talk like, oh, but you could go here, you could get to this warp level and go here or whatever. But the more I saw it, at first I was not unimpressed, but I was disappointed because it didn't seem quote unquote innovative in my mind. But then at the same time, I'm like, you know what? But I'm so happy they didn't just release Super Mario Brothers, with touch controls.
Me too.
It did feel something. It did feel like something fresh, and it felt like Nintendo is being relevant again. I like how at least Miyamoto. I didn't see anything before that. They didn't really quote Pokemon Go as like, because Pokemon Go, we're gonna do this. They did talk about Pokemon Go, not Nintendo, but Apple did, and later on. But if this has, Lord, please, I just want connectivity with my Nintendo account. That's what I want. If this could synergize well with Miitomo, I might play Miitomo again. If this could hook up with the NX or the 3DS for some reason, that's what they need. And I feel like this is a very good
first step.
Yeah, but it was so bizarre to see that at first. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like,
it was weird.
It was strange, but
it gives me high hopes for Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing.
Yeah, they did. I did read a headline that said that they were pretty much, I guess, delayed those two games out of this year. But I have had not even people. Listen, this is no disrespect to Pokemon Go, but for me personally, I like hearing about Pokemon Go. I'm glad it's doing really well, but I really had no personal desire to get the game. But when I saw this, I'm like, I really think I'm gonna. And I actually, like, in my mind, I thought at first, like, no, I think there's no reason for me to not get this.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
I want it too.
Oh, that's pretty exciting.
Good.
Yeah, so I'm down. I'm down.
So down.
Frozen, were you able to see any of the footage?
No, man, I got a lot of catching up to do.
I know you've been busy today. I understand that. Yeah, I'm curious to see how you feel about it. You can tell me. You can tell us next week or whatever.
Yeah, give it a chance, man.
Yeah.
Tell me your feelings. Okay.
I will. I'll open up, put it all out on the line.
And another little detail. This sounds like it's iOS. I don't know if it's iOS exclusive, but iOS is finally for iOS. Was it 10 coming out? I forgot what it is. Next week they're gonna have in messages, and I'm pretty. If this has already been in Android chats, I'm not shocked by that at all. But finally, Apple's using like stickers and stuff that you can use in text. But they did announce that they're gonna have some Mario stickers, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, but it would be strange. It would be, in my personal opinion, it would be stupid if Nintendo just for some reason started to do iOS exclusive things, because the whole point of going mobile is to reach out to more people. So I hope they release stuff like that for Android. I'm pretty sure they will. It would be stupid if they just stuck to Apple. They wouldn't want to limit themselves.
I think so. So.
But we'll see, man, if they play their cards right. But yeah, that's all that, as far as I know, today. That'll happen in the last 12 hours. And God,
a lot of stuff.
We're talking already. Yeah.
Dude, in a week, there'll be the Tokyo Game Show. I'm hoping for some good news.
NX? Me too, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm hoping.
I mean, who the heck knows what the heck that thing is right now? I mean, nobody. What is it? Nintendo doesn't even know.
It's a spaceship. That's what it is.
It's a rocket ship.
But outside of that, we got the big stuff out of the way. I'm gonna leave the floor to you guys as far as anything you want to talk about, news-wise.
Hey, Coffee, you got anything?
Coffee or something.
Yeah, I went in to get my. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I went in to get my Galaxy S7, and I checked out the Samsung Gear VR, and I actually had very, very. I don't know if any of you guys have tried it. I don't think you have, Jeppy, but what about you, Frozen?
No, I haven't.
Is this? I didn't ask you this, Coffee. Is this your first foray into VR? Period. Like modern VR?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, unless you count the fact that I went to, a science place when I was like 10 years old,
No.
and I
Modern,
got
I
sick.
mean, since the advent of Oculus Rift.
Yeah, you paid
Yes.
$25 to do
Yes.
that.
Yes, it was. And I had no idea what to expect. I thought it was going to be awful. I went in and I just I was really hesitant to do it because I kind of wanted to, not go in on the bottom floor and try something that's, but this has me, let me put it this way. I wasn't hyped for PlayStation VR until I tried this thing, because just this alone got me incredibly excited about VR. And I mean, it was amazing what that little thing could do.
I have not heard one bad thing about the Gear VR.
Yeah, it
For
kind
what
of
it is, I have not heard
freaked me
one
out.
bad thing.
It kind of freaked me out a little bit.
I have tried Google Cardboard, which is the lowest of the low, I would say, and that didn't really impress me because it was just using the gyroscope of your phone and really shifty optics. But I mean, it's Google Cardboard, I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah.
But I hear the Samsung Gear VR is for especially what it is pretty awesome, considering it's off your phone.
I was
Untethered.
pretty blown away. Yeah, I was pretty blown away.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't imagine what they're going to do next.
Tell me about Dread Halls.
Okay, so Dread Halls is a horror game for the Gear VR. It was originally an Oculus game, but apparently they ported it to the Gear, which surprised me because I didn't realize the Gear was robust enough to be able to handle some of this stuff, and apparently it can.
Wait, sorry to interrupt you. Is this do you happen to know if Dread Halls is, because I know you haven't played this personally, right?
Mm-mm.
But do you happen to know if Dread Halls is for any Gear VR, or is it like certain phone models, like the one that just came out or something?
It's for any Gear VR, from what I understand. However, they keep releasing new. I think the third Gear just came out a week ago. I went to Best Buy today, and they were telling me about it. But there's a lot of people doing Let's Plays, and people are crapping themselves with this. Like I haven't seen the sheer terror that it has. I mean, the graphics aren't that good, but it gives me a very similar vibe from the videos I've seen to Amnesia, and apparently with the Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which is one of the scariest games I've ever played, by the way. But apparently with the headphones in and with that thing in front of you, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. You're just in it, and you're screwed. And I
keep hearing with VR. First off, processing power, you need more to render two different points of view,
mm-hmm.
and to handle all of the different immersion aspects. So yeah, generally graphics would be lower poly compared to what you would normally play. But I also hear from a lot of people that visually you don't need the best graphics, because if everything is done right, you can have the some of the crappiest graphics, but you'll feel like you're in the place and immersed. And that's what VR is about. So what did you actually play? Like, what did you try out?
Okay, so I tried out a couple things. I tried out the main. I mean, it starts you out kind of sitting on a couch and kind of I think similar to the Oculus, because it's powered by Oculus. So you're kind of in this virtual room with a bunch of, it's furnished, and you could kind of look around and so I was looking around in that, and I was like, "Whoa, this is surprisingly." I mean, it's pixel, it's pixelated, but very quickly my eyes were like, it didn't matter. I was there. I was
See,
in it.
that's so funny you say that because I hear about that the so-called screen door effect, where
Mm-hmm.
so because for any of you who don't know, if the again I'm just repeating what I've heard because I haven't tried this, but the screen is so close to you that obviously you can see the individual pixels and the space between the pixels, which has kind of an appearance of you looking through a screen door at something.
Correct.
Yeah, but then everyone says like if you just keep with it, it doesn't matter, and that
It took
your
about
mind
5 seconds for me.
erases that. Oh, not that long is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, it started when I started moving, and then when I looked around and I was in full. It was one. I mean, if I would just stay there and stared at like front, but it didn't. I mean, I had to be moving for it really, and then my brain was all of a sudden kind of honed in on what was going on, and
How incredible is that? That's crazy.
it was insane. I mean, I opened up and they were just these static pictures, 3D camera pictures that you could stand in, and one of them had me. I was out by the pool, the stars were out, and there was a whole bunch of drinks, and it was really beautiful. And I was just walking around in that environment. I didn't want to leave it, and it was just a freaking static picture. It was a little weird. It was really weird. And one last thing I tried was a Suicide Squad game that I booted up on my phone. It started out the graphics were probably PS2 quality ish, maybe a little better, not that much.
Granted, on a phone.
Yeah, on a phone. Yeah, and you started out riding on an airplane with Harley and this other unnamed character. I don't know who it was, but it was a helicopter ride, and then it crashed, and it was spinning out of control. And I think the frames dipped a little bit because I actually got kind of nauseous, or not nauseous, nauseated during that part. But when I got on the ground and you started shooting with guns, those things in the movie, trying to avoid spoilers, but the bad guys in the movie, you got to shoot them. And Harley was there, twirling her hair, like looking right next to you, to like waving at you and stuff. It was weird. It was super weird. Anyway,
that's licensed.
It'll be interesting to see where this stuff goes. Really, I mean, I think they're trying really, really hard with the gear, specifically to make something affordable and to basically rope in the consumer audience. And I could see them doing that with the gear. I mean, it's good enough. It's more than a gimmick. I think with proper software and with more games like Dread Halls. I mean, obviously that's not gonna. I'm just saying games of that quality.
Yeah,
I could see it just really doing a lot. Yeah. I mean, I had to use all my self-control to prevent myself from going out and picking up one of those things.
Wow.
Just because it's a bad time for me right now, and I'm probably going to try waiting for the PSVR if I can.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive. That's amazing that alone. Yeah, I've only heard great things.
No kidding, man. That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
I gotta get myself a 7 now.
A what? Oh, I got it. Yeah.
I think a 6 could run it. You got one of them.
We gotta get the new hotness, man.
New hotness.
Hot. What about you, Frozen? I know you had a few things you want to talk about.
Yeah, I'll just go over them real quick. But one of the main things I want to talk about is I had the unbelievable pleasure of flying my first drone over the Labor Day weekend.
That's cool.
Nice.
But I did it with a bit of a twist. So a friend of mine just got this device called Glyph. Have you guys ever heard of it at all?
Well, I looked it up after you mentioned it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Glyph is pretty much they're advertising it as your own personal home theater. Like it looks like a headset device, with ear cups that you can use as regular headphones, but then when you can flip them down, kind of like a visor, and you're able to see. You can connect the two devices and able to see either movies. You can play games with it. You can connect it to a drone um, to be able to get that viewpoint. Um, it's a pretty unique device and pretty comfortable to wear. A friend of mine had this and actually had his drone, which I've never controlled a drone before, but he told me it was a Phantom 3 Pro. It's a pretty legit looking drone. So he was flying around, he was showing me it, and then he got me to try it, and I was scared out of my mind because I thought it was going to destroy his thing. But I put on, well, first I did some practice flights without the glyph, and I was getting the hang of it. Then I turned this thing on, and I got like a first person bird's eye view of the drone. Now, there wasn't VR by any means, but it made me feel that kind of sensation when you go down on a roller coaster.
Oh, like you were flying?
Like I was flying, yeah.
It was in 3D?
It was not in 3D.
Because of the drone. Not
right.
Not the capabilities of the glyph. I'm assuming the drone just...
Yeah, the device does not have 3D capabilities.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so it's just standard. It does like 720 aspect. So it's not amazingly high in the quality, but being that this device gives you like up close and personal view of the screen, which is this thing is very comfortable to wear. It was terrifying, but it was exciting nonetheless. Then I watched a movie on it, and it was amazing. Then I learned that you could connect it up to PS4 and Xbox One. And
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I immediately thought that the capabilities of the thing was going to be awesome. You know, for anybody who's in a family and wants to play their console but doesn't want to take up the TV, you just pop these on. You get your own personal, theater basically that you can play your games on. So it's really pricey. It's like $700, but it's built really well, and I was just amazed at how comfortable and amazing the view was.
Now, from what I understand, this thing is completely wireless, correct?
No, not completely, because when you connect your your console to it, you got to connect it through an HDMI, like a mini HDMI port.
Gotcha. That's I'm glad to hear that it's comfortable, because when I saw that, I'm like, man, I thought that thing must have like a tight grip on your head for it to just be attached to your ears, right?
Yeah, at first, but it kind of the material around the headband kind of adjusts over time, so it's not like giving you a vice grip all the time.
Okay, that's cool.
It will adjust.
That's cool.
But it was pretty legit. It was pretty dope. I really liked it.
Did you, when you were flying a drone, did you see yourself?
I did, and it was very strange.
That's weird.
Yeah, that was very strange. I had, it's like an out-of-body experience, and I like flew down on a top view over me and then went around me, and that's where I almost crashed it because I almost bumped it into myself. It was crazy.
Oh, that's crazy.
Huh. It was pretty cool. The other thing is that there was an article last week that was pretty interesting to read about, in case you guys don't know what that is, it's an external device that you can connect a graphic intensive video card into and use it externally. I've never heard of
this before. I read your link.
Oh, you did read it? Okay. Yeah. So it is, those type of docks are usually geared towards PC gaming, although there is kind of a debate of why you would need that. If you have a desktop computer, you could just put in, you just buy your own graphics card. But the benefit to this particular dock that I read in an article is that it can now offer the same high graphics that you see in PCs, but in Macs and MacBooks specifically. So one of the major, I guess, major issues, I guess, depending on who you ask, is you have the both of you have Macs, right? Or am I assuming that?
I do.
Coffee?
I don't. Coffee.
I do not know.
No. Okay. So, Jepi, if you were more into PC gaming and you have a Mac, you're kind of limited as far as what you can play. You're not really going to be playing the newest AAA titles that are out there because it would be very graphic intensive, and Macs just generally aren't built to handle that type of use. So with these docks, it brings that capability to the Macs, using it as an external device that you can connect. You can do it yourself kit, which you'll buy the graphics card of your choice that's compatible, pop it in, connect it through was it Thunderbolts on the Macs? Or
Yeah.
or you can buy a kit with already a graphics card into it, depending on what you want to do. But it was originally a Kickstarter campaign that was very well funded, very very popular, and I think the group's name is Wolf Inc.
I think so. Double check really quick. What's the price on it? I'm curious.
So the do-it-yourself kit was priced at about I think it was like $270. So that means you just have the external device, and then you would buy your own graphics card to pop in, and you can be on your way. But then there's other flavors where you have a GeForce GTX 950, which is a pretty nice graphics card in itself, for almost like $450. And then you can go above and beyond to the 970, which is about $600, which gives you a very, very powerful gaming system there.
For the record, I just see Wolf with an E at the end. It might be Wolf Incorporated or Wolf LLC. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah. That's cool. I never even thought of that till I read what you sent.
Smart. I think it's really cool because they're reaching out to that market that has been kind of lacking throughout. Yeah. And it also will bring VR capabilities to Macs as well. So that's a huge step as well.
Do you know if because I know a lot of games are not compatible with Mac, but for Windows they are. Does this solve that issue too, or is it just still only Mac compatible games that increase your specs?
My knowledge of, I don't personally have a Mac, but my knowledge of Mac now is that the architecture that it's built upon can handle window-like applications.
When you say it, are you referring to the dock or Macs?
No, I'm talking about the Macs itself.
Okay, gotcha.
Just they're built. The guts to the hardware are built in such a way that it can handle, Windows-like applications. So I wouldn't see any issue doing a new game with it, but I would also see that they may need to tweak it a bit for the Mac. So maybe to answer your question, there would still be some kind of restriction for that.
Got you.
The last real quick thing that I'm going to talk about, in case anybody else has anything, the coffee, I don't want to take your limelight if you have anything.
No.
All right, so PAX West was is actually just recently over. I wanted to watch a lot more content than I did. I only was able to see a few of the indie games that are coming out or have already come out.
Mm.
And there were 3 titles that I saw that are pretty interesting. One of them, I believe, is already out. Have you guys ever heard of Inversus before?
I have not.
Not heard of it. No.
So this particular game, it's more catered towards kind of a co-op and multiplayer, a co-op online, and I believe also local co-op. So think about, Jepi, you remember the game Ikaruga?
Yeah.
Coffee, you aware of that game, Ikaruga?
Say what? Repeat that.
Are you familiar with a game? I think it came out on the GameCube called the Ikaruga.
Yes, that's a top-down shooter, right?
Right, and the cool thing with that game is you had to switch different colors depending on the enemy that you were trying to shoot or get through different sections. You had to switch your color of a ship. I think it was just black and white.
Yeah.
That same concept is in this particular game.
Huh.
And for example, let's say we all play, because it could go up to like 4-man free for all. Our job is to either shoot each other and kill each other, or to trap each other in these blocks. The way that the game looks is kind of like a huge Othello board with the black and white.
Is this like a first person or?
No, this is a well, I guess you could say a top down. Yeah, I don't really know how to describe it, to be honest with you. Okay. But the board, it looks like a big Othello board, the black and white tiles. You have a colored tile that you have to navigate towards. You can only shoot opposite color blocks, and then you can set up little traps for your enemies to get trapped into a block that they can't escape out of. So it puts a lot of that puzzle aspect into it. And I thought it was really cool. I actually do want to play this with you, Jepi, in the future, because I think it's going to be really fun for us.
Yeah, that's cool. This just reminded me. Sorry, I just wanted to. Right. You mentioned, remember that one game you talked about with the bomb manual? That we
never did that.
Yeah, but I think it's there's a VR version.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think the person wearing the VR headset is the one defusing the bomb.
Oh yeah, I actually read about that today.
Yeah.
I think it's called like "Don't blow yourself up" or "Don't."
It's like keep talking or you'll explode. Or
you'll explode. Yeah, apparently it's one of the most popular because the person in the VR headset has to tell everyone else what's going on and try to get them to help what he's doing with their help. So it's kind of...
Yeah, but I remember Frozen talked about this a long time ago. But I don't know if there was a VR version. But sorry, keep going with PAX West.
Yeah, I'll just cover one other game. So one of the really cool ones that I saw, and I'll just say a lot of the games that I saw with these indie developers were catered to multiplayer and cooperation with other players, and putting a kind of a puzzle spin to it. So another game that I thought was really cool was called Death Squared. And just to give you guys an idea of what this game looks like, basically you and another person control different color blocks. So one's red, one's blue. And you have to navigate a kind of puzzle area to get your blocks into a particular home base station of your same color block. So Coffee of your blue block and I'm a red one. We have to navigate each other around to get to our home base of our same color block. Now, really cool because you have to be in communication with each other to work out the puzzles, as sometimes there'll be some obstacles that are controlled by the other person's movement. So you have to work around that as you get to your goal. There can be different traps if you're not paying attention, where if we're trying to get to our home base and I go to a wrong spot, I trigger a trap that's going to kill you. So we have to navigate around that. Really kind of similar strategy like Portal, where you got to work together. I'm going to put this portal here. I'm going to do that there, and we're going to solve this particular room. That same kind of concept is in this Death Squared game, and that's another game that I really want to play with you guys because I think that's going to be very fun and very hilarious for us to play.
Both of these are for PC.
The first one in Versus is PS4 and Steam.
That's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. And I can do that with PS4.
Cool. And then the Death Squared. Oh man, I want to say it's for all consoles, but I'm not too sure. Yeah.
No offense to anyone who loves PC gaming. I respect you, but I'm not PC centric, I guess. So that's cool. If it's coming out for PS4, man.
Yeah, well, it says, the Death Squared says Steam and consoles, but it doesn't specifically say which one.
Got you. That's cool.
So yeah, that's pretty much all I had.
Cool. Just a few little notes I wanted to mention. Walking Dead Season 3 is supposed to come out in November, and it was Telltale. Set 4 years after Season 1, which is pretty interesting. Next episode of Batman Telltale Games supposed to come out September 20th, I think, later this month. Urian's supposed to... For Street Fighter V, they revealed his revealed trailer today. Supposedly there's a big September update coming, and I think they're going to announce the date of the update at TGS next week. So look for more info. And Call of Duty Infinite Warfare did announce, and I like this trend, that they are releasing a VR mission with the game, all editions of the game for PlayStation VR, where you apparently take control. You apparently control a jet named Jackal.
That sounds pretty cool. Oh, I hope it's actually a tiger, and by tiger I mean a jackal. It's also a jackal. A jackal.
But from the perspective, I mean, it looks like you're a pilot. You're in the cockpit, but I don't know if you're an actual person.
Maybe you crawled inside a jackal.
Oh, hey, let's do so this was kind of a Brainal scoop, I think.
Scoopy goop.
So, Coffee, in our messages today, you showed a little bit of a Ghost in the Shell thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the Ghost in the Shell virtual reality diver, I forgot what it was called. Yeah, so that's something we talked about a little while ago, but they released a trailer. And I never mentioned this before, but I follow Elizabeth Maxwell, who voices Motoko in Meiji Kusanagi in the English version, the modern English version, on Twitter. But she's actually pretty interactive as a person, and I messaged her, I tweeted to her, I'm like, "Hey, this was like last week or something." And I tweeted her saying, "Hey, have you done any voice work for the virtual reality diver yet?" Because I told her I really would. I don't know if it's going to be localized for US or not. I really was hoping that it would. And she got back to me. She said that there's nothing definitive yet, but she really wants it to happen. So that's kind of a Brainal exclusive.
That's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah. If Sony really wants to put everything, not everything, but if they really want PSVR to take off, well, then why wouldn't they localize the Ghost in the Shell thing? You know, I know it's coming out for PSVR in Japan. Man, oh my god,
VR is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but I feel like what they're doing with PlayStation Pro and PlayStation VR is, I think and I hope they are extremely realistic as far as their expectations. Where I'm hoping they have invested in this in such a way where they know it's going to be a long haul thing for things to slowly pick up, instead of like, oh, everyone's going to buy it immediately, you know? It's just, I'm very curious to see what happens. Very curious to see. But either way, I mean, that's all I wanted to bring up particularly. But, are you guys okay? Frozen, do you have a question of the week? I don't.
Yeah, I really don't. And I think with all the news today, my brain is just shot.
Yeah, I don't have one either, frankly.
Well, I mean, I think this episode's gone pretty long enough anyway, right?
Yeah, we're about an hour, 13 minutes.
True story.
Yeah. So, first, I'm going to let you close it for us.
Oh, great. All right.
Let me lean back.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us again this is episode 41 of the Brainal Podcast. Of course, you can always find us on YouTube, where we do gameplays and gaming reviews. I know Jepi's working on.
We did one review.
Yes, one review, and I know Jeppy's working on his Urian video. Urian. Of course, you can always listen to our podcast, our back catalog of podcasts on there, on iTunes, Stitcher, and Shout Engine as well. And we even have a website, which is the same content at brainal.net. So on behalf of Brainal, Frozen GFX,
Jepi Kondo.
Good coffee.
we say peace.
Hey.